For real, man. There's a lot that can go into it, and literally right now, like if they're like, Rob, you got to what's your you got to decide right now, right this second if you're playing next year. I would say no right now. It's 2 days after the season. I'd be like, no, I'm not playing. Like way too soon. But like you got to give it some time. You got to rest. I would say to see how everything goes. How everything plays out. How I feel. I mean, I just want to heal completely. See where my thoughts are from there. Then. And I would say you really start thinking of what you're really going to do in about, 3, 4, 5 weeks from now, especially in my situation. Like, just let everything settle down. Got to just heal a little bit, fix all the bumps and bruises. But if I had to answer right now, it would be no, Mike.
Wow. Is that the feeling you – but do you – like,
but
if
you
I
never
asked you –
in 3 weeks, it may be yes.
Is that how you always feel after a season, though, Rob? Like, if I asked you 5 years ago, would you have said the day after your season ended, no, I'm not playing next year?
Yeah, probably.
Rob, and I would expect it does what your quarterback does, what Tom Brady decides, does that factor in, or how much does that factor in to your decision to come back next year?
I mean, it will factor in a situation. I mean, I personally – he's got to do what he's got to do for himself and his family, no doubt about that. But then for myself, I got to do what I got to do, what's best for myself and see where I'm at, how I'm feeling, all that type of stuff. And, so then once I make that personal decision, and then, I mean, we'll see what his decision is and everything, what goes on. And then from there, then you take it from there. But, you can't really read it or anything until everything happens, but every situation could, basically be on the plate for sure. But I got to do what's best for myself first. And then once I make that decision, that's when I can go from there.
Did the drama with Antonio Brown have anything to do with the end of the season, with the playoff game to the Rams? Did that have any impact negatively on the season ending for you guys?
No, I wouldn't say like in the locker room. It didn't. I mean, there's so many experienced pros in our locker room. It's not like we have a young locker room or anything like that, where it's just all young guys and never been in a adverse situation before. So we have a lot of, we got Tom. Who's seen many situations in sports before. We got experienced coaches that have been in a lot of things before, but so you gotta, when things like that happen, it's a big story. You got to just focus on what you got to focus on. And that's what a lot of guys did in the locker room. A lot of professionals in the locker room just stayed focused on what you really got to do. And that's basically what I did too. Cause that outside noise, it can affect you if you let it get to you, but if you just block it out, that's one thing I learned in New England big time in the 9 years I was there. Block out the outside noise. And I got to totally agree with that, man. That's going to stick with my life, my life forever. Yeah, it is pretty awesome. No doubt about that. So I teamed up with Groupon and we're throwing the ultimate Super Bowl watch party. There's no doubt about that. And we had a team up because we're throwing it at my house, because who's ever thrown a party at their house that plays in the NFL during the Super Bowl? You got to call up Groupon because they're the experienced pros and they can make everything happen. So they're getting like a bounce house there, mini golf there, and many other awesome things that will be surprises. Can't give away everything, and then you can also invite up to 15 friends. So, when you have a posse like Mojo, like event, like he can only bring like 2 people, he won't go then. Mojo needs to win this event because he can bring 15 people because he needs a whole party with him. So that's cool about this is like your friend can bring a friend, like you know what I mean, because you get up to 15 people, and once you win the experience, everything's free. So a guy like Mojo is trying to win this experience because he gets everything free because he's the number 1 dancer of all time. So
you heard it. You heard it.
So this is gonna be a great experience. Mojo, you're invited. Of course, you got to come up and show everyone your dance moves. I mean, the hammer time that you got's crazy, but if you want to join, you want to, get a chance to win this awesome prize, go to www.partylikeaplayer.com and enter now and get your chance to win with Groupon, and come over for a party during Super Bowl and have some crazy activities, like probably a dance off for Mojo.
It's got to be
Rob,
a dance off.
Rob, we need you to tell everybody here about what parties are like at your house normally, because obviously I've been to a lot of them. You weren't even there for all of them. Sometimes you were playing. But tell us about what a party at your house is like, because it's unlike anything I have ever seen before.
Yeah, well, that's why I teamed up with Groupon, because they were like, Rob, we might throw a party at your house even if you're not there. I was like, don't worry. That's happened to me many times. My brothers, Mojo, they've thrown parties there when I'm not there, and I didn't even know about it. So, but you want to know my most favorite party experience? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, definitely.
All right. You might have to agree with this, but my favorite is when Chris Gronkowski, my brother, he's the number one partier when he gets going. There's no doubt about that. He's the number one seed, they call him, when he gets rolling. Well, let me tell you, he was in my basement partying, dancing, doing his thing, and then all of a sudden, his head's through the wall. And we're like, what happened? He's like, the wall made me mad, and he put his head through the wall and broke the whole entire wall. And then my roommate Goon plastered the wall back together like 3 months later. But for some reason, Chris put his head through the wall and thought it was the most awesome thing, and it was the most awesome thing.